Hi everyone and welcome back. I had recently purchased some wax beads to make some wax seals from Amazon, and I had a chance to kind of play around with the seals and experiment a little bit, and so I thought I'd kind of give you some more information about what I found out with the seals. I also had purchased some of the wax beads from Spellbinders too, because I really liked this particular color that they had, and I kind of wanted to compare and contrast and see, try different stamps and things like that and see how it worked. And I'll show you this. There's some of the things that I created. I love this stamp. This was from Spellbinders. It's their handmade wax seal stamp. If I can find it here. It's this one right here. And I ended up just using it with their wax beads, and it turned out really nice. I made quite a few of these because I thought these would be fun to put on the backs of greeting cards or any of the journals I make, just kind of maybe to seal up the tissue paper that I wrap the journal around. I had gotten some of these adhesive seals too. These are from Amazon, and they're double-sided and they peel off, and you can put them on the back of these, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to add, and somebody could use it as an embellishment later on. So I really like the way these turned out. This rose gold colored one, or rose colored one, was from the Amazon kit. I had gotten this little kit here. I thought this was really pretty. I love the shimmer that it has too. And then this one is from a kit that I ended up getting from a website called Nostalgic Impressions, which I'll kind of explain how I ended up going down the whole rabbit hole of wax seals. I ended up there. This is a lavender color that has a really pretty shimmer to it. And I used this floral stamp that I have with this one, and I thought that turned out really pretty too. I've decided I really like the shimmery wax beads, probably better than the regular ones, just because it adds that little bit of kind of shimmer, and it just adds a little more depth to the wax seal. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. But what I had been looking for was, I thought when you had wax seals, they were breakable, like how you see in kind of the olden times where they break the seal in like a Christmas story or something, or not a Christmas story, Christmas Carol. They break the wax seal on the letter, and, it's kind of that old-timey look. But the seals nowadays have some additives to them that kind of make them more flexible, which makes sense because then you can send them through the mail, and they last a little bit longer, and they don't break up, before the person gets them. So you'll notice with these kind of wax seals, they're more flexible. But what I was looking for, I was wondering if there was still a way to get the kind of wax seal that's breakable. So I did a little more digging, and I always end up going, like I said, down a rabbit hole when it comes to certain supplies. And it brought me to Nostalgic Impressions, which is this really great website. I got a ton of information from it. I'll put a link below. They're not sponsored. This isn't sponsored or anything. I just happened to find the website, and they sell breakable. They're called breakable wickless sealing wax sticks. So these are like kind of the original type of sealing wax that you can actually break. So I really wanted to try that. So I thought I'd show you. I did purchase some, and I experimented with them, and they work. They really break. So I thought I'd show on video just kind of all of the wax seals, and how you do the imprint and melt the wax and things like that. And just, if you're interested in kind of seeing how the whole process works, I thought I'd show it to you. So this is the finished product here. What I'll do is, let me show you how I made these first. And these are actually, they're larger because I used the silicone mat that kind of keeps the wax in a little area, so that you're able to make kind of a better size circle. And I thought that would be just easier to do than to kind of end up, I mean, you can do it however you want. You don't have to use one of these. It's probably looks a little more natural if you don't have it in a perfect circle like this, but I wanted to make a bunch of them, and so I just poured them in the circles and did it that way. But you can do it the freehand way too. And actually the kit that this came with also came with this little silicone doily, and you can do your wax seals right on here. Just pour them naturally. So that's an option too. But let me show you. I'm probably just going to do it on the white mat so I can kind of show you how it looks that way. But let me do this with I'll do it with the Amazon wax beads. I didn't really see much of a difference between with the flexible wax beads. There was not much of a difference between like Amazon or the Spellbinders or I don't know. I think even the Nostalgic Impressions, I think it's just the colors that you want. The Nostalgic Impressions was the only one that I could find that had kind of this color of periwinkle. So it's kind of what I was looking for. So I purchased you can buy the beads like in a kit, or you can buy them separate, and I actually got this little tin of this kind of periwinkle purple type wax beads, and you get quite a bit. So that's what I used for that particular seal. Another thing I was trying to find like more information about the history of wax seals on the Nostalgic Impressions website. You get this really nice, they have all this on the website too, but you get a pamphlet with your order that kind of explains some of the history of wax seals. And their website explains what they're made of, what the wax is made of, the difference between the modern wax seals, the flexible kind versus the old-timey kind that can break. So it's kind of interesting if you're really interested in that kind of thing. I just thought it's just I love embellishments, so I just thought it's another fun embellishment to kind of have on hand if I want to add some texture to a project or a junk journal or a card or something like that. So this is the little kit I got from Amazon. It's nice. It's just real basic. It's got all the kind of colors that you would want to try in this one, and this actually, it comes with kind of everything you need. It's got it's a candle. It's I don't know what you call this. It came with a set of tea lights. And you put this over the tea lights, and you actually melt your wax with this, and it has a spoon too. And you put the spoon over the top of this over the top of the candle, and it will melt the wax beads. Some other options you have for melting wax are you can buy a wax melting pot, which the Nostalgic Impressions website has, because with some of the types of wax sticks, they don't have any wicks or anything, so those kind of make it easier. You can also buy, this is a wax stick I got from Nostalgic Impressions. It's got the wick on it, but you can also get this, I think, on Amazon too. But you just light the wick, and you can drip the wax that way. I like this way because I think it's less messy. The wax wipes out of the spoon really easily, and it just stays in one spot. And I think that works the best for me, but whatever you're comfortable with. So I also like to I actually like to use this doily over this, because then this keeps everything kind of safe. But you want to obviously do all this in a safe environment, because you're going to be using a flame to light the candle when you're using the wax, and you never want to leave it or anything like that. So let me go ahead and I will get started with the wax. Okay, so you're going to stick this lid or this cover over the top of your tea light, and then I'm going to pick out the color of wax. I'm just going to do, actually, maybe I'll try this teal color. This is really pretty. I use about 5 pieces of wax, but you can kind of experiment and figure out what works best. It takes a minute for it to melt in the spoon. So I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. Okay, so this is all melted, and this is the flexible sealing wax. So this is the wax that will not break unless, I don't even think it breaks. I tried it just basically bends. And what I'm going to do is just pour it right in the silicone mold. And then with this little mat, I kind of like to move it around just a little bit. And you want to work quickly because, the wax starts to dry pretty fast. I might even use one more wax bead, because these little wells are pretty big. I'm trying to you don't have to fill the whole circle if you don't want to, but I just kind of wanted to see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to use this plant stamp here, and you just want to pop it right on top, straight down, and then hold it for a minute. Okay, and then you kind of have to, again, experiment, figure out what's a good time, but I don't know, 20 seconds or so, and then just carefully pull it up. And that worked really well. And you don't get anything sticking to your stamp or anything. It's ready to go on to the next thing. And I just leave it in the well for a little bit just to make sure that it kind of gets solid. And then in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'm just going to wipe out, there's a little bit of wax left. I'm going to just wipe this out. You want to make sure this is cooled off. Sometimes I just leave a wet paper towel and kind of cool off the outside of the spoon. It's hot, so you want to be careful about touching any of the metal. So you want to wait for it to cool off, and then you can just wipe out the inside and then move on to your next color of wax, you know, however you're doing your seals. But this mat is nice because you can make a bunch at the same time and then just pop them all out. So this is probably ready to come out. So it's just kind of like a silicone mold that you use for baking. It's really fun to make. See, it just pops right out. Look at that. This color is really pretty. It's kind of, I don't think this is, it's got a little bit of a shimmer to it, but I think I like the, I'm trying to think if, it's supposed to have a shimmer. Yeah, it's supposed to have a little bit of a shimmer to it, but I like the shimmer from the Nostalgic Impressions a little bit better. It's just a little more shimmery, but it depends on what you're looking for. But that looks really good. And then let me just show you how you use these adhesive seals. So you just peel it off, and then it fits on the back here like this. It's basically just a glue dot. So you can just peel off the backing then. You can see right there. So you've got the little glue dot there. And then you can just stick it to, you know, if you want to use it on like tissue paper to seal a package or something like that, you can just pop it right on top like that and it'll stick, and then the person could use it again if they wanted to. But I thought that was really fun. And the stamps are fun to use too. You can get different ones, you know, depending on what you're looking for. You know, if you want something more floral, garden. On the Nostalgic Impressions website, they have a ton of stamps, and they even have ones, if you make chocolates, they have stamps for chocolates too, which I thought was interesting. So, but I thought this fine one would be pretty with the teal. So that's fun to make the flexible, and see, it's very flexible. Let me go ahead and show you the breakable wax, because I just thought that was fun. That was what I was originally on the hunt for when I discovered the flexible kind. So I've got my envelope here. So what you want to do with the breakable wax is you have your envelope, and they don't recommend that you put that through the mail, the breakable wax, because obviously it'll break. But it's fun to use, you know, if you're going to personally hand a letter to somebody, or, you know, for any other type of project. But what I did with this to seal the envelope, I sealed the envelope first, and then they, you know, recommend that you put the wax over the top of it like that. So this sealing wax is called the Breakable Bank of England sealing wax. And on the Nostalgic Impressions website, it comes in gold, silver. Let me show you. I got the gold and the silver just to try it out. They have gold, silver, and they also have a red, like a kind of a deep red color. That would be really pretty for Christmas time. So I just tried these two, and you can get them, they come in packs of 5 each. So they recommend you can melt them in a wax melter, which they carry. But they also said you can do it, you know, you can light the flame directly on the end of the tip of the wax and just kind of drip it onto your the surface that you need the wax seal on. Or they said, you know, you can break it up and use the tea light melter. I preferred this way just because I had the tea light melter, and all I did was kind of chop a stick up, and this works. It worked pretty well. I did it previously to kind of test it out, and it works fine to kind of chop it up and you know, kind of create your own little pieces, and then you just melt it over the wax. So this is almost melted. Just kind of move it around a little bit. And if you want to get it perfectly centered or whatever, you could do kind of a pencil line, you know, in a circle. If you want to kind of have a area to know where to pour your wax. They also recommend on the website here, I'm going to use, using silver, I'm going to use this pretty flower pattern here. They recommend that for the breakable wax that you kind of moisten your stamp a little bit just so that it doesn't stick to the wax, because this wax is a little more sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just with a paper towel, wet paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pour this. I'm just going to let this kind of go natural. I didn't put a circle around it or anything. So you want to just pour it on top. I'll make a pretty big seal with this one. Okay, it's got a little bit of a shimmer too, the silver does. So that's really pretty. And then I'm just going to pop my stamp right on top of it. And go directly straight down. All right. So like it does help to have the wet paper towel in here. So this looks really good. Let me get you a close up of that. How pretty is that? So I'm going to just let this sit for a second and then I'll show you how it breaks. So this is dry. This probably only took a few seconds to dry, but I just wanted to make sure it was perfectly dry before I tried to break it. But look how pretty that is. It's got a really pretty silver shimmer to it. So let's see what it looks like when it breaks. So you can hand this letter to somebody and then they can break it open before they open it. Look at that. I broke it in the wrong spot, but oh well. So, and you can see how you probably wouldn't want this to go through the mail because it kind of pops off then. But it's just a fun effect. You know, if you like to send letters and give letters to people, I don't know. I really like that kind of old-fashioned look of the broken seal. So there's a lot of fun things you could do with that. You know, if you make Victorian journals, if you like that kind of thing, these would be really fun to add to those, either the flexible or the breakable. I just wanted to do one more test of, I did some more of the flexible sealing wax from Nostalgic Impressions. I did this really pretty, it's like a rose, not rose gold. I keep saying rose gold. It's like this is sort of a peachy, like a peachy pink color. I thought was really pretty. So this is almost melted. And I thought I'd just make one of these to kind of compare it to the Amazon flexible one and just see if there's any difference there. I don't think I'm going to spread it out. I didn't put a lot of beads in it, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And then let me see. I think I'll just use this same. I think this is my favorite, this flower stamp here. I'm just going to stamp that right in here. Go straight down. Love that. This one's a little smaller, but I actually like it. Just pops right off the little, oops. I should have waited a little bit longer because you can see it a little bit it wasn't quite dry, but that's okay because it's the back, so you don't really see it anyway. But look how pretty that is. I don't know, so it's fun to just kind of take an afternoon and experiment, and you can make a bunch of them at one time and use them for, you know, embellishments, and just have them on hand, have the different colors. I don't know, it's just a fun, different type of embellishment. So I had a lot of fun kind of, you know, experimenting with different colors and kind of seeing what I could come up with as far as, you know, like trying the different stamps too and everything. So let me know if you have any questions. It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I thought using wax seals was going to be so hard, but I think it's just, it looks intimidating because you're, you know, having to work with the wax and everything. But it's really, it's pretty forgiving, and it's a fun little addition to the craft room. So let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video.